What's up guys, Football Pia here, back again with another video. Now it's been a while, but I'm really excited to be back to teach you guys not only how to get fit for the soccer season, but also how to maintain that fitness and be the guy that can always run for 90 minutes and never really gets tired. Now this process, I have to admit, is not something that comes overnight and really is something that you have to maintain and really create a good routine with good habits to really be that player that can be the fittest on the field. To give you guys a breakdown of what we'll be talking about today, here's what I got for you. First, I'll be giving you guys a general guideline of what I like to stick to and how I like to stay fit in college and the kind of different mindsets that I'm in depending on what season it is. And then at the end, I'll be giving you guys a rundown of my favorite drills and the typical workout that I like to do. So make sure to watch the entire video to get into the workouts, which I think is probably the most important part of this. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, even though I would argue that the actual fitness and the actual running is the most important part of it, as in, how are you supposed to get fit without running? I'd also offer a different viewpoint that the actual habits and the routine and the mindset you have is just as important when it comes to becoming a fit soccer player. And for that, a couple things you should be aware of. The first thing that I'd like to stress, and I cannot stress this enough, is making a routine. Say it is summer, which it is right now, it's blazing hot. You're not playing as much soccer as you usually do. My team doesn't practice here at UC Berkeley during the summer, so I need to do stuff on my own to stay fit, which means I'm setting, I'm making habits, I'm setting routines in my calendar to make sure that I'm running regularly so that when I come back in the fall for season, I'm not, out of shape and I'm way behind the other players, and I make a good impression on the team. What I typically do to do that is I use either Google Calendar or an actual physical calendar, and I will just simply mark the days that I want to go run, and I stick to that. Now, obviously, that's easier said than done because sometimes, you get busy, you have other things to do, or you may not have the motivation, but that's just what you got to do to stay fit. Something that I find that works really, really well is if I set small goals. So before I was doing this routinely 3 times a week, I started out with once a week to acclimate myself to the fitness process and also just become used to setting habits and doing them. And once I started getting really good at going once a week, I raised that level up to twice a week. And at that point I was going every Monday and every Friday. And once I started doing that, I raised it up to Monday, Wednesday, Friday every time that I'd be able to get the most out of my fitness. So that's just my suggestion right there. You don't have to do that with the calendar. You can also just mentally say, I'm going every Saturday and Sunday, but whatever works for you, just make sure you're able to create habits that you actually go to the field and maintain it, because I guarantee you if you do fitness once and then lay off for 4 weeks and then do it again, you're not gonna get fit, because you do fitness once, maybe you get a little bit fitter, but then you slack off for 4 weeks and then you just have to start from ground zero. So it's really all about making little steps and achieving your goals. Now, this next thing is also really, really important, and that's just quite frankly to be honest with yourself. I, at this point, will say very openly that I am not fit. I'm not as fit as I would like to be, at least. I don't think I could play full 90 minutes. I don't think I could really play 45 minutes at my full 100%. And that's okay, right? You don't always have to be the best fitness and the best shape of your life because there are seasons, there are off seasons, that's just how life works. But that being able to come to that conclusion is just as important as actually being fit, because when you're not fit, you want to say, I'm not fit, and then you set drills in place to obviously get fit from that. And once you're aware of the fact, like, oh, I can't run as much as I should, or maybe I'm not as agile, or maybe I'm not as fast, obviously applies to other things, then you're able to target that specifically and you're able to work on your weakness. And then lastly, something that helps both the habits and the being honest with yourself is working with a partner. I usually, during the school year, I like to work with other people on my fitness. Obviously you have practice where 20 to 25 other guys motivate you, but during off season, it's sometimes just really lonely. Like today, I don't have someone that can work out with me just because they're all out of town or they're at work. And so it's much harder to get out of bed and come to the field and really make sure you're doing it. But when you do have someone, a designated workout partner, someone who's on the same page as you, someone who wants to get to the same level as you, that's really, really useful in motivating yourself and actually having someone to do it with you and someone to push you to your limit. And that actually, I find, before I had someone to work out with, obviously I would skip some practice or some workouts. I would be, whatever, I'll just do it tomorrow. But once you had a partner and you texted them, you said, hey, well, look, we're doing tomorrow at 6 p.m., you can't bail out as easily because you don't really owe yourself a commitment, but if you owe someone else a commitment, you're much more likely to actually do it and really become fit. So those are the 3 things I would like to highlight in this portion of the video. 1 would be to create habits. 2 is to be honest with yourself. And 3 is to find a workout partner that you can work out with that's on a similar level as you and has the same goals as you. And if you don't do those 3 things, I guarantee you, you will be successful no matter what. And now moving on to this, into the good stuff, the reason why I assume you're all actually here is the actual drills that I'm like to show you. Now moving on to the good portion of the video, or the portion I assume everyone clicked on this video for, is the actual drills that will get you fit. Now I'm not gonna lie, some of these are really exhausting and they kind of suck, but you have to go through them if you want to be fit. And when I do these drills, I usually like to divide them into two different parts. One would be fitness without the ball, and secondly would be fitness with the ball. I typically do fitness without the ball first, just because I want my legs to get tired, and then to do fitness with the ball with my legs tired will not only raise my fitness level, but also will make my touch better, since if you can be good on the ball when you're tired, you'll also be good on the ball when you're not tired. Now the first drill that you can do is very, very simple. You can do it on a soccer field, obviously. You can do it on a football field, a rugby field, a basketball field, basketball court, I should say, rather. It really doesn't matter, anywhere with an open space, even a track field if you need to. And I'm sure you guys have all done this before, but honestly, it's probably the most effective way to raise your fitness level, and that's just regular good old running. What I typically like to do is, we have a football field here at Cal that also works as our home stadium or soccer field, and I just run from one baseline to another and back, do that twice, and I like to measure my time to measure my progress throughout the weeks. It's very simple. And typically, I try to set a time goal that I make it in. So when I go back and forth twice, I kind of want to have it either between, depending on the day and what my goals are, typically around a minute 30 is what I try to get under. And if I do that, it was great. If not, I know I have to work a little harder and maybe adjust that time bin a little bit. Whew. Now this works really, really great for your overall game fitness. Doing this a lot will raise your fitness for, just like I said, general gameplay, so that you're able to maintain your fitness level throughout 90 minutes. Now doing that, there's also a second drill that I like to do a little bit more on a short distance to work also not just on my fitness, but also on my speed. For this, once again, you can do it on the same field that you did the first drill for, and that's just doing short bursts of acceleration and sprints within 20 yards. I'll typically measure off those 20 yards on a football field, or if you don't, you can just do steps with cones, and I just do bursts of sprints until the end, which looks a little something like this. And now, contrary to the first drill that I showed you, this one also works on your speed, as I mentioned, which is really, really great, because when your legs are already tired from the first drill, this now will help your explosiveness and your agility throughout the game. For when you're running in, say, the 70th minute, your legs are tired, you'll still be faster than your opponent, which is what this works on really, really well.
Something I just like to add at this point is that once you've done this, I'd say probably 4 or 5 times, depending on where you're at, it's really easy to cut corners and cheat. Like, instead of putting your hand down, it's kind of like half-assing the touch on the line, something like that. You really want to make sure that even if you're tired, you want to stay sharp. If that's the expense of 4 seconds, that's fine. As long as you're actually working and your legs burn, that's great. Something that I'd note at that point is, if you're coming off the line, it's one of the most important things. Your first 3 or 4 steps have to be fast. Drive your legs, move your hands, pump your arms, and really make sure those first 4 steps of acceleration are fast, because that's exactly what you're working on, to be quicker off the first touch, off the first step. And if you're not doing that, you're not gonna see any rewards.
And now obviously there's plenty more drills that I typically do and that you can do out there. Typically a quick Google search will bring you a ton of great resources, but these 2 fitness drills without the ball are the staple of fitness soccer. Long distance and short distance will really work on different aspects of your game and different aspects of your fitness. And if you're starting out, these 2 things are probably all you need before you're tired, and that's fine. And now, as I mentioned earlier, once I've worked on fitness without the ball, I like to move into fitness with the ball to work on my touch when I'm tired. Since obviously when you're playing 90 minutes and you're getting towards the end, your legs are tired, you still want to have a good touch and not lose your touch, right? Like, you can work on your touch as much as you want, but if you're not good when you're tired, it's not going to help much, since you're not always going to be at 100% fitness capacity. And so there's a couple different ways you can do this. If you don't have a partner like I do currently, a really, really good way to do that is basically replicating the first drill, but in a little bit shorter distance. So instead of running the full field, you'll run a half with the ball and then run back with the ball and do that twice. So you'll want to do short, quick touches, obviously not kick the ball 5 yards ahead and then just run after it. That would be defeating the entire purpose. But short, quick touches under control, but also while going at a pretty fast pace. This way you're working on your speed with the ball, also while working on your fitness. And now lastly, applying the same principles from fitness without the ball is to now do something on a little bit of a shorter distance. Something I like to do to also work on my touch is play the ball against the wall, receive it, turn, and accelerate for 10 yards to work on my quick acceleration with the ball while my legs are already tired, which looks a little bit something like this. Now, summarizing everything that I've said so far and tying the different portions of the video together, here's what I mentioned that I think you should take away. First being that you want to create habits that are really, really important in maintaining your fitness and getting to your goals and achieving your goals. Secondly, you want to be honest with yourself. If you're not fit, admit that to yourself. That way you can really work on your weaknesses without pretending to be something that you're not. And then lastly, finding a workout partner is really, really helpful, motivating yourself and also having someone else to benchmark your fitness levels with. Going to the drills, I'm not gonna mention the specific drills, you can just go back if you wanna look at them, but the main takeaway I would say here is that you typically wanna do two different parts. You wanna do fitness with the ball and fitness without the ball. And then for each of those, you wanna divide it up into long distances and short distances to not just work on your general fitness, but also to work on your agility, your speed, and touch. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you want my advice, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to link you to resources or answer any questions that you have. It would really be my pleasure. So for those of you guys who did make it to the end of the video, I really, really appreciate it. I hope it was helpful to you, and if not, let me know down below, and if it was helpful, let me know down below as well. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for the notifications, and of course, please do leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. See you guys next week. Peace.